Hello there, and welcome to day number 70 on the Road to 2000 ELO Rapid Series. We're playing with the white pieces today, and we're back at 1800 after a little bit. Playing against an 1821 from the US. Oh, I was saying I was going to play a new opening, but I kind of want to play Knight C3. Should I switch it up? What should I do? I think that, you know what? We'll go with an immediate Scotch instead of a 4-Knight Scotch this time around. And we'll see whether our opponent knows what they're doing. I don't really know what I'm doing here. I assume the plan is knight takes. It feels like it makes a lot of sense. And wow, a knight e5. I feel like I want to play f5. It's just, without much room for thought here. F5 would kind of lead to some sort of Alekhine-like game after knight g6. Let's play this. Just because I don't see an immediate downside. Definitely pushing the f-pawn is a little scary early in the game. I guess f5 walks into the immediate queen h4 check, but then I just play g3, I think. So let's try this out and see what happens. Okay, so now we get the knight going back onto c6. So the induced f4, which, you know what, that's a very logical decision to make. That makes a lot of sense to me. I can play normally here, and maybe I can plant the castle queenside now that I've already pushed the f-pawn. So let's try to develop on the queenside. How about that? We're going to play knight c3, allowing the trade of knights. Probably playing queen here. If they decide to take, I'm going to probably play bishop d2, and or maybe bishop e3 at some point. Now bishop d2 makes sense. If I play bishop d2, I'm obviously hanging a knight, so I'll probably take first. I'm expecting b takes. And then, I don't know, maybe queen d4 is a move. Seems to be a fork. Looks pretty nice. We'll probably send the bishop all the way back onto the f8 square. So let's do that. And they might take with a d-pawn. I didn't expect it. And now we're going to play queen d4, which attacks the bishop, attacks the pawn. If they see that either they're going to trade or they're going to play bishop f8, most likely. So they decide to trade here. We're going to obviously take back. Now they'll probably play knight here, I would assume. We're going to just play bishop d3 calmly. And yeah, we're getting into a... This looks good for me. I like the way this looks. You know, we don't have a damaged pawn structure. We're also enjoying a pretty healthy position when it comes to our pieces. Like, our piece activity is very solid. I think I'm going to just play bishop d2, castle queenside, and we're going to get the rooks also going. Maybe get a pawn storm going as well. So let's play bishop d2 here. Maybe I can try to prepare g4 right away, but I want to get my king relatively safer first. I can anticipate they're going to probably play rook e8, in which case I probably play e5, but then they might play d6. I don't know, there's a lot to consider here. Okay, and the queen there also makes sense. Maybe I still go here anyways. If they go pawn up, I just castle. I don't mind losing a pawn, because then afterwards I feel like I can probably put a rook onto e1. That's what my intuition's telling me. So do I have any better moves? I could technically defend this pawn with, for example, my queen. So like queen c4 maybe. Queen c4 walks into this though, and I don't like that. Queen d4 walks into like c5 ideas. And then I could maybe bring a queen here. I don't like that as much, so I'll just cast... I'll just play e5 right away instead. e5? There's maybe knight d5 that I have to consider. But then I just move the queen. And I think this is okay. I'm worried we might be overextending a little bit, but yeah. I still think this is fine. Queen d4 or queen c4 is what I'm considering. I think I'm tempted to play queen d4. This is obviously not a threat because queen takes knight. Here, where does the knight go? Knight goes back and we're just chilling. Or the knight doesn't move. That's also a possibility. But queen d4 looks decent enough to me. The only thing is that they can play rook here, which would x-ray. Perhaps now's a good time to get a queen looking at the king and pinning this pawn. But I don't know. For some reason, I'm not convinced by this move. They can play knight here with tempo. as well. So instead we'll play queen d4. Also, queen here walks into maybe bishop here ideas down the line. Let's play queen d4 instead. It also defends this pawn. Reinforces the defense of this pawn, I should say. And we can always bring the queen back to f2, which will allow the pawn to push forward on the f pawn to push forward. So yeah, let's see how this goes. I'm thinking of castling queenside, but now I'm a little bit wary. I can just play b3 here, probably. I could also play queen e4. That comes with tempo. Also protects this pawn. Maybe I'll save queen e4 for a time where, you know, like if they ever push c5, queen e4 is actually a really nice move because it's a fork, but then they'd have something like knight f6. But you know what? Maybe castling walks into danger, so maybe I'll just play b3 calmly here. b3 lets the queen infiltrate, though. That's one problem. Castling bishop here. Castling looks scary, but I don't know how they infiltrate, so maybe castles, they're going to bring the bishop out and double up the rooks on the b-file? Castling into an open file is scary, actually. Let's just play b3. Or we don't even need to do anything, actually. We don't really need to do anything. I can start pushing pawns. Because the queen's defending this square. Gotta make a decision, though. Maybe we play f5 and then queen e4? Queen e4 right now is met with this, probably. But then we can probably play f5 afterwards. Takes. So g6. So no, sorry, queen e4, g6, f5. They probably don't take. What do they do? I mean, they don't need to do anything. Maybe I castle kingside. Or maybe I launch pawns. I don't know. I'm a little conflicted. Or do I go for this right away? Man, I'm not sure what to do. I think I'll just castle. I think my opponent's not getting to my king on the king side. But the queen side looks scary right now. Let's do that. Well, castle will prepare to push the f pawn. That's my current plan. Okay. So they play that really fast. They're probably trying to flag me. I can probably go rook f3 to rook h1. Looks very promising. Let's go for this. Probably going to try to play like here to stop that idea. Maybe I can slide a bishop onto c3. Then knight takes. And I don't want to lose my bishops. Bishop e1 is an idea as well. But the queen has a couple of squares. At least I'd be able to push the f-pawn after bishop e1. Because it would be forced off of this sort of square, this space. If it goes on to g4, then rook g3 comes in. Rook g3 looks pretty nice for me, because then e6 looks really consequential. So let's see what my opponent decides to do here. Gotta make sure I'm not missing any tactics, by the way. This is a very interesting position. Kind of glad I didn't play the 4 knights this time around. It's fun to try something new, even though it, you know, ran away very quickly from being a typical opening position. But yeah, my opponent's got to make a decision here and like look at my pieces and how quickly they're able to attack. I mean, the second I move my e-pawn, my queen's staring down g7, my bishop's already staring down h7, acts as a hook. And yeah, rook here is already, I mean, queen there is already not a great move from what I can tell. Because don't I just play rook g3 now? We'll try it. And now my idea is that I can probably play here. Alright, I can probably already play bishop no, I can't. Well, now he's letting me play this, so I should, probably. Yeah. I don't know why I wouldn't play rook h3. Attacking h7. It's kind of a goal of mine the whole time. Whoa! Does he see a fork or something? Okay, no, there's nothing on the board. Really? Really, really, really? Okay. Alright. I'm not complaining. Let's take here. Let's start. Okay, you know what? We can trade stuff off. We can probably take... I gotta play fast now. Let's just trade stuff off. You know what? We're threatening mate. He's gonna probably take here. I would assume. He plays this, and then I can play this. Then this comes in. Okay, now this knight is pinned. Yeah, this should be completely winning. I didn't expect him to sacrifice the queen fully. Okay, we'll just trade. And we'll probably, what can we do here? Just take this pawn, because why not? I've got to learn how to convert these positions. Because I definitely don't do them in the most efficient way. You can try to trade the rooks. I gotta play fast here. If queen here, I probably go here. So that I can at least win another pawn if they try to go at me again. And then escape onto c5. Okay, now we're gonna bring the rook up. Are there mate threats? Rook a1 check here. No, I don't see anything. So we're gonna go rook up. Playing with really little time on the clock, that's the one thing that kind of scares me. But probably they're gonna have to go, yeah. A move like that makes a lot of sense. We'll just start taking pawns now. Because we can. Okay. Probably just a simple little king f2 here. Cheeky. Nothing crazy. Take another pawn. Check. King here. Probably going to stay away from the light squares because they do have the light squared bishop. Now we'll play queen here. There is a check. Is it scary? That is the question. Maybe we can just not let that happen by going rook d7 instead. Not taking risks. Especially when I don't have time to really calculate. And... oh, man. Okay, well, this rook... oh, I'm running out of time. Is this check scary? I don't know. Let's go back. Just in case. Probably play queen g4 at some point. Try to take here. Queen g4 walks into bishop e6. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my god, am I going to blow this game? Try not to. Trade the rooks again. This is way more stressful than it should be. Oh my goodness. Can't believe I did that. Okay, well. Yeah, this is just not good for me. Might walk into mating nets, actually. Oh, I'm getting mated. There's no way. Yeah, I'm getting mated bishop here. Dude, that's so annoying. Wow. Is there any way to stop that? Nope. Oh yeah. Terrible. Terrible game. Well, that one was certainly not very fun for me, but it goes to show that you don't win a game of chess until the game is over. And my opponent, kudos to them. They played resiliently. They kept on fighting, and they managed to play their way into me making a blunder and managed to take over from there. Let's see exactly how this one played out. We got e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and at d4 immediately. This is the Scotch. I think it's probably my first time playing the Scotch on this series. I've always played the 4-knight Scotch whenever I get the chance, which is knight c3 here, and then after knight f6, d4. But instead, I played d4 right away, and I don't really know this opening very well, but it is pretty fun to play, and knight e5 is definitely not one of the moves here. The immediate f4 is actually supported by the engine, which is surprising to me, but it makes a lot of sense. The opponent can't really do much besides bring the knight back onto c6, and here I just develop normally, and I essentially just get free control of the center plus equal development of my pieces, and so we trade knights here. After b takes on c6, apparently you're supposed to take with a d-pawn for some reason. I didn't really know that was the case. Queen d4 is the best move, and after trades, knight f6, apparently I'm supposed to play b3 here, and try to, I guess, fianchetto my bishop onto b2. Interestingly enough, I played the very natural-looking bishop d3, defending the pawn on e4. Castles happens, I develop the bishop, and now that is an inaccuracy because I guess my pawn on b2 is a little bit weaker, or maybe it's just too slow. Castles immediately for me is the best move, and then e5 is the second best move in this position. I just went for a normal developing move. They're supposed to play a knight takes e4, which looks bad, but I guess the idea is that you pin the bishop afterwards, and you obviously do not want to take, if knight takes on e4, yeah, so essentially, knight takes on e4, bishop takes, rook e8 comes in, and now this bishop is pinned, so I'm going to want the castle, and then they just take the bishop. You can't really defend the bishop. If I tried to defend it with something else, like for example, if I play like queen d3, well, now they play something like d5, and this bishop is still pinned, and I'm losing the bishop regardless, so you want to just get your king to safety while you can. So very interesting. I didn't think about that. They played queen e7, and I went e5 here, which is the best move. After knight d5, queen d4 is totally fine. Rook b8 is played, and here I decided to castle kingside, which is not accurate. Apparently castling queenside is better, and apparently even better than that is just playing a3. I guess you want to play b4 afterwards. So good stuff to know. Queen h4 is given a question mark because it's just not that good of a move. And rook f3 is part of the reason why. The queen is just a very easy target for the rook, and here rook h3 is devastating, and the best move is actually sacrificing the queen. So kudos to my opponent for playing the best move. I thought, wow, I didn't expect it. And here I'm just playing up 4 points of material. So I go into trading mode. I decide to trade as much as I can, and this is all fine and dandy. I'm actually up 5 points of material here, trying to trade rooks again, and going for an attack on the king, but they defend with bishop f7, which is the best way to defend. And I think I get a little overzealous here. I allow my opponent to defend a lot. I mean, to create pressure and attack my king. And I just got scared, and I was already down to a minute and a half on time. It's not conducive to very good chess, playing on low time. And here I try to trade rooks. It's no longer a possibility. And simply enough, with 1 minute on my clock, I just forgot that they can play rook e3. And that was the whole point. It's silly. It's not good chess. Apparently, rook takes f7 is one of the best moves, because after they do this, well, you disregard it because they're going to have to sacrifice one of their rooks back, and you won the bishop, so you're up a piece. And why, for example, they don't take this bishop back is because if they take the bishop back, well, now you can actually play queen d5 check and get away from the trouble with your queen. So, pretty instructive moment there. Sacrifice material when you're up, if you can, in order to get out of dangerous positions. And yeah, here, it's a draw, and, you know, low on time. Not really thinking too hard, and king h4 is a loss. I spotted the mate straight away after this, and they spotted it after a few seconds as well. That is game. Yeah, I'm happy with how the opening went, actually. I might play the Scotch more often. I'm still looking to study a couple of e4 openings. One of my commenters, Poka, who I am a huge fan of, and I really appreciate them commenting on all my videos and sharing their thoughts. They recommended a few openings in the latest video that I posted, and I'm curious about the Ponziani specifically, so I might be trying the Ponziani very soon. So we'll see whether or not that makes an appearance in upcoming videos. But the Scotch is definitely going to be something I try to do from time to time in the future. If you have more opening suggestions, by all means, I'm all ears. I'm very much at a rating where I think that I can understand opening concepts, but applying them is a whole other story, and I kind of want to try and learn, and I think that's a good way to grow as a player, so let me know. And yeah, tough loss here. Back under 1800, I feel like that's just been the story of the last, like, 10 or so games, but we'll break through eventually, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the next game goes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the videos, please do consider liking, subscribing, and commenting on the videos. It helps me out a lot. And thank you for all the support. Genuinely, I always really do appreciate it. It's also 2025 by the time you're watching this. I'm recording this currently on the 31st because I know that tonight's going to be busy, and I don't think I'll be awake early or in any state to play chess tomorrow. So Happy New Year to everybody as well, and thanks for watching. Hopefully a very good 2025 to come. Take care. Goodbye. See you later.